right? How do you maintain that positive attitude when things are not going your way? Because that's the toughest thing that a lot of people have. You know, they get knocked down, they get kicked in the face, they get a lot of rejection, a lot of barriers and roadblocks, and then they start to have those negative thoughts, that negative self-talk, and things just gradually continue to go down. Whereas like, hey, if you keep that positive mental attitude, you stay emotionally flat instead of letting your emotions bring you those ups and downs and that roller coaster. If you stay emotionally flat, you stay positive, like things are either going to, you know, it's more than likely it's going to continue to keep like gradually going up by responding positively to things that are happening in your life. So, you know, having that positive attitude and having that positive viewpoint as well, like, you know, like me personally, when I first got into insurance, my viewpoint was like, this is my only option. I have option A, no B, no C, no backup plans. Like, this is going to happen. Took me 7 times to pass my test. Took me, you know, 3+ months to sell my first policy, but I just kept persisting. And, you know, one of the things that affects our attitude is who we are around, what we're listening to, what we're seeing, and what we're reading. So making sure that you have good data and information that you're surrounding yourself with, your environment, your surrounding, right? Because, and most importantly, the people that you surround yourself with, the people that you spend time with. You know, the last thing you need is like people around you saying like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, go get a real job. And then you'll start to have that negative self-talk and those negative thoughts like, oh, wow, maybe I should get a job. Like, there, you know, potentially, hey, maybe it's a month until you sell your first, you know, you enroll your first client. And you got someone around you, family member, a friend, an associate, whatever it might be. They're like, wow, like this sure isn't working for you. Why don't you just quit? And then you're like, wow, like you're right. Like, why am I even doing this, right? Like a lot of times that can happen because you might have like those suppressive individuals like I had in my life. You know, when I first got into the insurance industry 5-6 years ago, I had suppressive individuals that were invalidating what I was doing. They were antagonistic towards me and opposition towards me. And that makes me bring my self-esteem down. It makes me think these negative thoughts, right? So, you know, back to what I was saying, like your attitude is affected by who you are around, the places you go to, the places you're around, you're surrounding your environment, what you listen to, what you hear, right? And ultimately what you think. Because here's how it goes. Like your attitude determines what you say, and what you say determines what you do. And what you do is going to determine your results and your outcome that you get, and whether or not you get the outcome and result that you want to get. So making sure that we have the positive thoughts and that positive self-talk, it's the number one thing. It's the number one thing. Like there's partners, there's people in the insurance industry that don't have that positive attitude and they fail because just simply they didn't have a positive attitude. So, you know, that's the first part of anything is attitude. You have to have that correct attitude before anything in life. It's the prerequisite to everything in life is having the right attitude. So, and then having that viewpoint of like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to enroll this client no matter how tough it is. You know, going into the call like, oh, I'm helping this person. Having that positive, you know, expectancy, like I'm going to help this person. That positive viewpoint, I'm going to help this person. You know, even after like 100 people that you say that with, like, and you still don't enroll them or you still don't help them after 100 people you talk to, every single person you're like, I'm going to help this person. I'm going to enroll this person. I'm going to do the best that I can, right? Because, you know, you look at it this way, you call 100 people, you talk to 20 of them and none of them you sell. How are you going to respond to that? That's going to be the, you know, like I said, the determining factor of the success that you create is how you respond to when you're getting knocked down. Because basically what's happening is the marketplace is testing you. The world is testing you to see like what you're made of. And that's why we go through the hard things in life. That's why we go through those tough times in life because it wants us to see, like, man, what is Brianna made of? What is Ryan made of? Like, what is inside them that are they gonna like just fold? Are they gonna throw in the towel, or are they gonna keep persisting? Because if everything was easy, everyone would have success, but not everything is easy. As we know, great things don't come easy, right? And things that are worth it aren't going to come easy as well. So understanding that and just having that positive viewpoint, having that positive attitude and those positive expectations. And you need to treat every single call that you make like the first call that you make. Excited, high tone, great attitude. I'm going to sell this person. I'm going to enroll this client. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to help them. Like that first call that you make, like, more than likely that's the attitude and viewpoint that you're going to have and that you should have. But then you call 50, 100, 200 calls and you still don't enroll someone. Is your attitude and viewpoint going to go down, or is it going to continue to go up, or is it going to continue to stay level? Like that's going to be the biggest determining factor, because that's what happens with a lot of individuals in the insurance industry. Like, they're making all these calls, they keep getting rejected, and then their attitude and their viewpoint continually, gradually goes down instead of just continually going up. Like, oh wow, like there's a reason that this is happening. There's a reason why I'm going through this. It's making me into the best possible version of myself. It's creating me into a very solid, foundationally structured individual, right? You got to be like, wow, like many people are quitting and failing in the insurance industry because they can't keep that positive attitude and positive viewpoint. So you got to pull away, like, all right, I'm going to make a solution out of this. I'm going to find the solution to this. And I'm just going to keep persisting no matter what, because I know that on the other side of trials and obstacles and roadblocks, great things are on the other side. Breakthroughs are on the other side. Opportunities are on the other side. So just having that positive viewpoint and that positive attitude, it's everything. And I'm sure you could agree with me. And, that's why, the first step to our training that we're doing is just having, planting, like, oh, I got to have a great attitude. I got to have a great viewpoint, which you already do. And you're doing an absolutely fantastic job. Like, I've never seen you really be like, oh, like, screw this, I'm upset. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, you just keep plugging along. You keep moving. You keep pushing. And you just bulldoze your way through. I was told, by a close friend and a close relative when I first got into the insurance industry. He's like, man, just keep bulldozing your way through. Keep bulldozing your way through. Keep plowing your path to success and to the results that you want to get, right? Because hey, no one's going to do it for you. I'm going to be here to hold you accountable, to push you, to make sure that you're doing everything that you can. But in the long run, like, if you don't want it more than I want it for you, like, things aren't going to happen. So that attitude is everything. Attitude and viewpoint is absolutely everything. So let's see. I got some other good things I want to share with you here really quick in regards to attitude and viewpoint. So, success in the insurance industry is not easy. However, there will be an increased chance of obtaining your personal, professional, and financial goals and targets when you create and establish the correct viewpoint and mindset that is necessary to have in order to achieve your personal, professional, financial goals and targets and become successful in the insurance industry, right? So the more that you have that positive viewpoint and the more that you have that positive attitude, the more you're increasing your chances. And that's how you got to view it. Like, all right, like, as long as I stay positive, as long as I have the right viewpoint, I'm increasing my chances of creating success. And, this might sound cliche. This might sound like, oh, like, Ryan, I have a positive attitude, I have a positive viewpoint. But it's like, we need to, like, just reiterate this and just, like, implant it. Like, okay, like, anything can happen as long as I stay positive and as long as I have that right viewpoint. right? Because I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm trying to do this quickly. It's like, hey, this might take 5 years, this might take 10 years, it might take 15 years. Having that viewpoint, that long-term viewpoint, that long-term vision, very important as well. A lot of people, they get upset, they get like frustrated because things aren't happening just like that. It's not like that immediate gratification that a lot of people like. Whereas like, hey, the real gold and the real value is through delayed gratification, right? Putting in the work today so you can see the results that you want 3, 5, 10 years from now, right? And viewing the work that you're doing as the success, and learning how to love the process, right? Very, very important, very important. So let's see what else I got here. I just had a few notes that I'm going to read off to you right now, actually. And I hope you're finding some value of this. Yeah, I actually just said this as I'm reading it right now. One of the first steps to ensuring your success in the insurance industry is to view this opportunity as a career and a long-term decision. Exactly what I just said. Like, you know, as a lot of people say as well, like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? A lot of people like, hey, you can create success in 1, 2, 3 years, but if you don't continue to create success, that success that you've created, it can go away, right? And when people limit the amount of success that they want to achieve, they're going to limit what they're going to do to achieve it. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, hey, like, you know, I want $100,000 in the bank account. Okay. Maybe that's a limitation. Maybe you know you're capable of even more than that, right? Maybe you know you're capable of $250 or $1 million. So you're limiting your amount of success that you know you're capable of. So what's going to happen? It's going to revert back to the actions that you take to achieve that success. You're going to limit the actions that you take to achieve that success. It's a little deep there, but let's see here. Wow. The main reason that individuals fail in the insurance industry is because they treat the opportunity as a pastime instead of a career and profession, right? And I talk about this all the time. It's like, hey, if you just treat it like a normal 9-to-5 job, you're going to create success. And especially when you're a 1099 self-employed individual, people are like, oh, I can work 2 hours, I can work 3 hours, 4 hours, I'm good. Or hey, they start to work that 9-to-5 schedule for the first few months. They're getting crazy amount of successes. And then what happens is they let their foot off the pedal. They're like I can coast now. I can get by not working as much as I know I should be working. They're lowering their potential. They're getting out of ethics. They're being unethical, knowing that they should be doing more and could be doing more. So they're getting out of ethics, right? And, you know, because I see it all the time, is like individuals, like they work so hard in the beginning, like first 3 months, first year. Then they're like, oh, wow, now I can coast. I can just coast my way through everything. They stop learning. They stop doing what they know they should be doing, what they did to create the success that they created. And they just simply start to diminish their potential. You know, because they're now treating it as a pastime. They're now treating it as something that they just do it. Whereas like, hey, treat it as your profession, treat it as like your baby. Like, I'm creating success in the insurance industry, and I'm gonna go from brand new, just out the womb, to 18 years old, going to college, right? So treating it as a profession is absolutely key. It's very, very crucial, very vital. And you know, you need to be 100% committed to becoming the best you can and diving deep into learning everything you can about insurance and sales. So having that viewpoint and attitude of like, I got to continue to learn, I got to be all in, right? These are some of the traits that you're gonna have in order to create success. A lot of people, they're like, wow, it seems so easy. It could be easy, but you got to put in the work first. And you need to, we talked about this earlier, you will need to establish the viewpoint and mindset that you will not fail, and that you will do anything and everything in your ability to make the most out of the infinite opportunity that you have in your hands, right? Because you can create as much as you want being in the insurance industry. You can create so much more than you probably think you can right now. And it's just going to keep growing. Your potential is going to keep growing. Next thing you know, 2 years from now, you're living in Florida, you're living in Tennessee, wherever the state might be. You're driving a nicer car, nicer clothes, you're putting your kids in amazing schools, whatever it might be, whatever those goals and targets that you have. But it's like having that viewpoint and mindset, it stems back to what I was saying, is like having that long-term viewpoint and mindset, right? Because if you don't know where you're going, you're going to have a difficult time getting to where you want to go. So, and that's why we do our monthly one-on-one calls, to review your personal, professional, and financial goals and targets, to review like what are your goals and targets a year from now, whatever it might be. And also another thing, like I already mentioned this, many individuals create a plan A, plan B, and plan C, and have 1 foot in and 1 foot out approach, and wonder why they don't create success in either one of those plans. It is because you have backup plans, right? If you have a backup plan and you have that viewpoint of like, yeah, maybe it's going to work. You have the attitude of maybe it's going to work. Maybe I'm going to close a client. Maybe I'm going to create success in the insurance industry. Then you're just diminishing your chances. You're putting that into the universe of like, yeah, maybe it's going to work, right? Yeah, I mean, have you ever done something before where you're like, oh, like maybe I'll do it, and then you just don't do it. You don't get the result from it, basically. So I mean, that's the first part of it, is just the attitude and viewpoint. The attitude and viewpoint, making sure you have the correct attitude, making sure that you have the right viewpoint. So that pretty much sums it up. There is the attitude and viewpoint. I know it might seem quick. You might be like, wow, like that's it. But hey, it's where it's at. That attitude, the viewpoint. If you don't have that tightened up, I mean, everything's going to be difficult. Which, like I've been saying, like you have a great attitude and a great viewpoint. And, the reason I wanted to revisit this and go over it, even though you already have a great attitude and viewpoint, is simply because, like, hey, it's not going to be, and I'm sure you know this, it's not going to be easy from the get-go. It's not like you're going to start making sales left and right. However, you can, if you postulate that, if you're like, oh, I'm going to make sales from the beginning, within my first week, within my first 2 weeks, I'm going to enroll clients, I'm going to help clients out, I'm going to service them to my highest ability, right? When you have that attitude and viewpoint, you're increasing your chances of that actually happening. Instead of like, it'll probably take like 3 months, right? It'll probably take 2 months, right? If you have that attitude and viewpoint of like, oh, it'll take 2-3 months, then hey, it's going to take 2-3 months. But if you have the expectancy, setting that expectancy, forcing the execution of like, oh, I'm going to do this within a week, 2 weeks. I'm going to start writing business, right? That then you're creating these obligations to yourself, and you're going to follow through on them. Because, the last thing that we want to do is to say we're going to do something and not follow through on it. It's basically what happens. You're lowering your self-esteem. You're lowering your self-respect for yourself. So the attitude and viewpoint. Do you have any questions? Anything that stood out to you as we were just going over that?
No, it's just like, well, I mean, You're right, because it's so hard. Like, it's not easy to maintain a good attitude and viewpoint, but it can ruin everything you're doing so quick.
Yep.
So yesterday I had just a bad day, and I just kept going and doing things, but at one point I'm just crying, and I'm just gonna lay down and take a nap and not do anything. And that's what it makes you do. But then you get up, you take your kids to the gym, and then you have an okay time, and then you just keep going, and then suddenly things get better, But it's that it can stop all of your inertia and everything you're doing, no matter how well you're doing. And then once you stop, if you wait long enough, then all of your habits will slowly go away. And then what are you doing? And then you're doing nothing. And it's such a downer. It can get you. It can sneak up on you, and it can get you so good. So yeah, it's really important, and it's really hard to do, but it is very possible if you hold yourself accountable.
Yep, 100%, 100%. And getting around the right people, like I was talking about earlier, what affects our attitude, what we think about, what we hear, who we're surrounded with, who we're associating with, our surroundings and our environment. And that's why what we're doing here within our group, LC Financial Group, having that group of like-minded individuals, because I know how crucial it is to be around like-minded individuals who have a great positive attitude and who have a solution-oriented attitude as well. Because as you said, it can easily creep up on you. That negativity can easily creep up on you and just start to suck everything away. That positive viewpoint and that attitude that you had, just gone in a second. You were talking about habits. It's very easy to break a habit, but it's hard to keep the habits, right? It takes 21 days to build a habit, 90 days to build a lifestyle. So, and then also something I just took away is that with the way that you react to things and the way that you respond and the way that you operate, whether it's positively or negatively, you're either building a strong foundation or you're building a weak foundation, right? And we want to build and operate off of a strong foundation of positive thoughts, positive viewpoint. And something that helps me tremendously is always listening to audiobooks, reading great, books in general, reading books. Not sure if you like to read, but audiobooks, reading books, listening to podcasts. Yeah. It's so key. So key. So glad you brought that up. And, yeah, you might get knocked down. Might be for a couple minutes, maybe an hour. But as long as you get back up and you're all right, snap right back out of it, back to what you were doing, and that persistent viewpoint and attitude, then things are always going to work out. It's like with boxing, people get knocked down, and it's not that they get knocked down, it's how long do you stay knocked down and how quickly can you bounce back up. Because we're going through obstacles and roadblocks and rejection and hard times. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen in life. And like I was saying earlier, it's just testing you. It's testing to see what your ability is to continue to fight through, continue to just keep moving forward. Because it's you might have heard the song, but the strong, survival of the fittest, the strong will survive, right? That's so true, and that's why not everyone creates success, because not everyone has that strong intuition, that grit inside of them, and that thick skin, right? And that's why I'm glad personally I went through everything that I went through during my high school career, and I went through all these ups and downs, all these obstacles, roadblocks. I'm glad, because it turned me into who I am, right? And it's good to go through things, because it's just forming us into the best version of ourselves. It's not just happening to us, it's happening for us. And that's the viewpoint and attitude we gotta have. So, Yeah, that's good. That's good. I know we have another training tomorrow, and the training tomorrow is going to be it's going to be on selling yourself. So kind of like the same thing about attitude and viewpoint. Like, hey, you got to sell yourself on what you're doing, that it's great. It's, you got to sell yourself that what you're doing is for the greater good. You got to sell yourself that I'm going to help every single client that I talk to. Right? You got to sell yourself, right? Because our life, it relies on sales. It relies on sales, and it's needed to become successful. So we'll jump into that tomorrow. We'll keep moving forward, and my plan tomorrow is actually to maybe knock out a few of these next segments here within our training regimen: selling yourself, action and activity, and understanding your clientele. So these are just what we're going over first, and I'm sure if you view the broker handbook, we're training for the mindset, for the position in our career, because we got to build that strong foundation at first. Like I just said, we don't want to build on a faulty foundation. We got to build on that strong foundation. So all these little things that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need to listen to these motivating people or these audiobooks or read these books. But like, that's how you're going to build that strong foundation and have that good subconscious, those good subconscious thoughts, the good attitude, the good viewpoint, and make sure that you're setting yourself up for success, right? Because that's initially what we're doing. We're setting yourself up for success. And that's why, it's very key to be continually personally developing yourself. Not just your sales skills, but like your attitude, your viewpoint, how sold you are on what you're doing, how sold you are on your goals and your targets, how you view how what you're doing is so important, and selling yourself on that. Right? So we're laying the framework right now, and then we'll dive into, all right, script. We're going to dive into the script. We're going to dive into training for objections. We're going to role play. And that's basically, and we're just going to continue to go through the onboarding process of the training regimen. So we're in for a good ride. I'm excited because I know you're going to do well. I know you're going to do great. I could probably just give you a script right now and be like, hey, just start calling leads. It might not even be a bad thing. Just start calling these leads. They might be 5 years old, but hey, get your face kicked in. Start getting some rejection and start to build the ability to just fight through it and to stay positive. It's actually a great idea. I might just have to do that. Be like, here, Brianna. Here's 20 leads. Call those leads. Get some people on the phone. Fight through some objections, some reactionary defense responses. We'll do that here soon. I'm going to surprise attack you and be like, here's some leads. Call them. Yeah. Boom. Call those leads. You're like, I don't know what to do. Just do it. See how it goes, right? Exactly. A lot of things in life we don't know what to do, but that's where the greatness lies. It's like just committing without knowing where the commitment's going to lead. And GC always talks about, Grant Cardone always talks about this, is like committing first and figuring the rest out later. Just like you're doing right now, getting back into the insurance industry, committing and just like having trust and faith in yourself and what you're doing, and having that positive viewpoint and attitude. So let's go. We're going to win. We're going to continue to move forward. And I'll see you tomorrow at 10, okay? 10 p.m. again? Tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Good. All right. Cool. Well, have a good rest of your night. Appreciate your time. Do you have anything you want to go over? Any questions or anything else you want to bring up?
No, thanks. This is great.
Good. Well, I'm glad you find value. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
Of course.
I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night and day until then.
Yes. Thank you. I'll see you then.
Okay.
See ya. Attitude and viewpoint, folks. I'm telling you, it's one of the most important things, having that attitude, having the right viewpoint, setting that framework. Like I was just telling my partner, Brianna, that's moving forward with our organization here at LC Financial Group. Hey, if you want to learn more, we're hiring, we're growing. we're expanding at crazy rates, crazy speed, helping individuals create a multiple six-figure residual income within their first year here at LC Financial Group. So if you want to learn more, DM me, comment below, or reach out to any of our partners here at LC Financial Group, or hey, schedule a call with me at ryanloede.com, ryanloede.com. Let's go, let's grow.